The release of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, is fast approaching, and I'm quite excited to get stuck into the game, and I know that a lot of you out there are also excited, but I've seen in the comments of my videos and over social media that there's a lot of people that are not happy and are going to be refusing to buy this version of Final Fantasy Tactics, and in today's video I want to go over it and talk all about it. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you would like to support the channel, please hit that like button, and if you want to stick around for some more Final Fantasy content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, I think this all stems from the fact that this version of Final Fantasy Tactics does not have any of the War of the Lions content, and that's got a lot of people mad that like that version because it brought new characters as well as new jobs, that of the Dark Knight and the Onion Knight. It had additional scenarios and it also had an online multiplayer mode. Now, we've seen in interviews that the developers of this particular remaster want to make it true to the original, hence omitting the War of the Lions content. I should imagine when you bring up the online mode and think about servers and everything else in between, it could probably get a bit too much to keep on top of, and they just want to release the game for you to enjoy and play through it. Now, I'm always an advocate of having more content. If we have more content, that's great, but if this is the creator's vision and what we're actually getting in this version is quite substantial, I'm also happy. I look back at the Pixel remasters and I do have that moment of thinking, man, it would be cool to have the dungeons and the extra jobs that the Game Boy Advance and the PSP versions brought to the table when it comes to those versions, but it didn't. It was a true to form Pixel remaster and was the best representation of those games, and I thoroughly enjoyed my playthrough all 6 of them. Admittedly, I could be quite an easy guy to please, but when it comes to Final Fantasy Tactics, we are still getting so much when it comes to it, and when people shout out that it's a lazy port or it's a cash grab and there's no effort or passion, they just want to get the money as fast as they can, I really respectfully disagree with all of those people, and they're the comments I'm seeing the most. And I want to just go over a couple of the things when it comes down to what's going to be here in this version and the effort that's actually been made. But before that, let me talk to you about our partners at Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a website where you can get Steam games at incredible prices. Whether it's an RPG, an action game, or a new release, Instant Gaming has it all, and you can grab any of these games by using the link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. And while you're there, why not stick around for the giveaway? We are giving away any game off that website, and we get to do this every month, and if you want to get involved, click that link, then click on that orange participate button, and then you are in for a chance to win. Not only are you going to be helping out the channel, but you're also saving some money. So thanks to Instant Gaming and happy shopping. So let's dive into what we're actually getting with this remaster and really go over it, because a lot of people think they're just slapping a nice little filter on and just pulling it out to the world, when that is really not the case. Now let's talk about the fact that we are getting 2 versions. Heck, let's just rewind it even further. This game isn't just been remastered and just plopped on ready for pre-order. This has been built from the ground up because Square are infamous for losing their source code, especially from games from the late 90s to the early 2000s, and Final Fantasy Tactics is one of them. So they vigorously recreated this game from scratch by playing the original PlayStation version. That takes a lot of effort to make sure that everything's right, and as they've gone through that original version, they've gone through all the little things that may have got fixed in the War of the Lions version, but they've gone back into this one and fixed it for this version in particular. So that in upon itself is quite the feat, and a lot of people saying they've been working on this game for way too long. This is coming from Creative Studio 3, and they are the ones that were creating Final Fantasy 16. They're constantly doing stuff for Final Fantasy 14, and they don't have separate studios within the studio to kind of implement people here, there, and everywhere. These are focused efforts on these games to ensure that they are released at the highest quality. Now, let's dive in and talk about the fact that we are actually getting a classic version and a remastered version within the same game. So for those that want the pixel art and the true to form nature with a few bells and whistles to make it convenient not only for new players but for older players that might not want to take so long in battles. You know, some of these tactic RPGs and turn-based RPGs usually come with features to speed up that momentum and get through things a lot faster, and it's here in both of those versions. So that classical version, if you want that with the translation that is, and yes, we are getting the War of the Lions translation in that version, but that's because the original translation of the Japanese version on the PlayStation 1 was really not that great and did not convey the story very well. The War of the Lions version did a very good job of translating it. It was a good translation, so they're using that again. They've not changed the Japanese version because the Japanese version is the original way they wanted to tell the story, and that got lost in translation in the original PS1 version and then got fixed for the PSP re-release. So that's why they're using that. So I see a lot of people like, well, they're doing that with the War of the Lions content, why can't they throw in everything else? Probably because they want to be able to tell the story of the original game the best that they can. Now, when we're talking about the translation for the remastered version, the enhanced version that's coming in this package, it is a completely new script, and that is because we are getting voice acting. The lines have been rewritten so they can be spoken, they can be performed by the voice actors to convey emotion and really get the story across. This again takes a lot of effort. Not only do you need to hire the voice actors, you need a voice direction, how to convey some of these moments, because I've heard that Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the best Final Fantasy stories out there. So when you're doing voice acting for every single line in this game, you are wanting the right voice direction, hence why the lines have been tweaked so they can be spoken. In the classic version, you are able to read it to yourself and convey the story that way, but for those that want to take a seat and listen and enjoy the story and have it told to them and formed to them, you can understand why all of the lines have been rewritten to accommodate it being spoken by voice actors. Not only that, but voice acting. This is quite a big feat to include in a game, especially a game in magnitude of Final Fantasy Tactics. This is a huge story. There are lines to the story and lines of dialogue throughout the game. So again, a lot of effort is needed and has been put into this to ensure that we are getting the best telling of the story of Final Fantasy Tactics. So I think that's everything when it comes to translation. I know there's a big thing on social media when it comes to Brazilian translation and the fact that Square haven't implemented that in, or there's no signs of that being there. I think there should be translations for everyone because I'm a big advocate of everyone enjoying games. So I've got more people to talk about these games with and everyone can enjoy these at the same time. I hope that does get addressed, but when it comes down to it being a lazy port, it really isn't. We have got a lot of effort put into this. Now, we have new dialogue between the characters, which has been introduced by the original writer of Final Fantasy Tactics to give more layers and more opportunities to dive into this story in ways that players that have played it haven't before. And for those that are new to the story, get as much as they can from this story and characters. And again, I think that's pretty damn cool. So far, everything I'm talking about, me as a player and someone that's going to be getting this on the 30th of September, I'm really excited. The fact that I do have the classic version there if I want to have that close to the original experience as possible. But of course, I'm going to be going for the enhanced version. And what else does the enhanced version bring to the table? A brand new UI. And again, this is something that takes time. It has to click. It has to really work with how Final Fantasy Tactics is built. And from what we've seen visually, it looks really good and very easy to follow. They have included their State of the Realm that was made famous in Final Fantasy 16 to further tell this story and explain it and go into detail for those that want to know them. And with a UI and text that's easy to read, it's really nice to have, and it is shaping up to be quite the experience. Now, talking about the visuals, a lot of people are saying that they just upscaled and it looks not great. They should have worked back into these. Well, I don't know if you didn't know this, but these all have been redrawn for HD displays because a lot of us, if not all of us, are going to be playing this on a monitor of some sort, whether it's a TV, a 4K monitor, 1080p monitor, it doesn't matter. We're going to be using a modern monitor for this experience. There might be a few out there that's using a CRTV, and power to you. But for those that are going to be playing this, we're going to be playing it on a modern screen, and they have to accommodate this. This is why we have a new UI. This is also why everything's been redrawn, so it doesn't look all pixelated and out of place. Yes, the classic version has all the pixels and everything else in between, but that's been built specifically for that version. Could they have kept the pixel versions for the enhanced version? Yeah, they could have, but I don't see anything wrong with this new redrawn art that we have on the enhanced version. And again, the thing that I keep going on about is 2 versions here. You have a choice. Not many games offer this, so you just give the remaster and that's it. And it's nice to see that Final Fantasy Tactics gives you that option between the 2. Now, it might feel that I'm ranting, and maybe to a certain degree I might be, but I'm really excited for this version of Final Fantasy Tactics because everything I've seen has been incredible, and I can't wait to dive into this story. And the fact that they've gone back in, they've reworked the script for voice actors, we've got redrawn art, whether it's the backgrounds or whether the characters themselves, a new UI. They've even expanded the roster from, I think it originally might have been 16 or 24 or something like that, to 50, which is even more than the War of the Lions version. And I would assume, even though we're not getting War of the Lions content, a lot of the fixes that War of the Lions brought to the table, whether it's a way to get a job or maybe it's a few little numbers here or there, these are going to be addressed for sure. It's going to be a nice fluent playthrough of Final Fantasy Tactics. Experience all the jobs that they've got to offer, experience the story, get really tactical in the battle because we have the bird's eye view to really get a feel of the battlefield so we can be more tactical. There is really a lot of things here, and maybe there's a few more things that they've not revealed yet. I think when it comes down to it, I really think that we should be excited. We should be celebrating this. We have not had this game since it was released on the PSP. It has not seen the light of day. There are not many ways to play it. Yes, you can play it on mobile, and if you want the War of the Lions content, play it on the mobile. I've heard it runs fantastic. That way you can still support Square and let them know that you want that version. But for those that just want that true to form experience and a new experience with voice acting and everything else in between, Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles is an exciting time, and I can't wait to really just get my teeth stuck into this version of the game. Not much more I want to say, but I really don't think it's a lazy port. When it comes down to it, there is a lot of effort here. It might not look the way you want it to look. It might not be a triangle strategy. It might not have the bonus features that you have in the War of the Lions, but this is Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, and it's going to be a good time. And I think everyone that does play this version are going to enjoy it. I don't think there's going to be many complaints, and if there is, well, I'll hold my hands up. But till that day comes, September 30th, I'm just going to share that excitement. We're going to cover it more on the channel if we get any more stories. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are excited for Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. If there anything that I've missed or anything that you think I've got wrong, let me know, because I want that discussion and I want us to all be excited. Don't forget to visit Instant Gaming so you can get those Steam games at incredible prices. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.